We rarely think about what type of business person we want to be or what type of business person we're going to partner with. Right. So we think about the type of business we're going to go into. We do all this planning, but we go into business with anybody, our best friend, our relative, someone we met in school, and we don't have any idea what type of business person they are or even what type of business person we may be. Well, today I'm going to look at 4 particular business types, and I want you to identify yourself in them. And I want to see if you do have a business partner or you're thinking about going in business with somebody, if you can identify some of these traits, because it might clash. They might not be the right match. I am the eHarmony for you right now. I'm making sure you match up with your future business partners, as well as according to how you are as a business person will determine whether you can get investment money. So if you're not equally yoked as business partners, it can hurt your opportunity to get investment dollars. Or if you are the one that's messed up, then you might get the boot. So let's go ahead and dive in and look at these 4 particular business types. Okay, before I jump into these 4, let me go ahead and plug myself. This is a random podcast where we challenge the status quo and we empower you to think differently. So the first one I'm going to give you is one that we all have experienced, that we all know about. And you might be surprised that there are more of them out there than you can even imagine. And that is the asshole, okay? We all know the asshole. We worked with, worked under, associated with, or seen them. You have somebody in your mind right now that you're thinking of that solidifies the description of a asshole. Now, I even feel bad saying the word because it cringes me. So I'm just going to say that person, right? So this particular person has traits like being cutthroat, ruthless, no emotions. They'll sell their own mother down the river. It doesn't matter. It's a zero-sum game for them. It's win at all cost. And I would say, hey, some people respect this. Some people think this is what it takes to be successful in business. And at times, I had the same thoughts because I seen these kind of people flourish. So I would say, see if you have any of these traits. If you respect this kind of person, ask yourself why. If you're going to be an investor, invest money, would you want this type of person? You need to ask yourself that question. If you're going to be in business with somebody like that and you're not one, kid, you do that. Okay, business type number 2 is almost a polar opposite. It's the giver. And I know we go like, yeah, the giver. Now, that's a good person. The community and their loyalty, and they give. They have to have a kind heart. Look, I believe in the principle of sowing seeds and getting harvest. I believe it's better to give than to receive. I believe in all those principles. But as a business person, someone who's always given can also be taken advantage of by that person, the a-hole, right? And it makes them a little weak with the defenses. The giver might need to hook up with the a-hole and it'd be the yin and the yang. I don't know how well the relationship would go, but it would kind of be one covers the other one's back. But the giver is going to be one who loves to give, loves to help, does things for the community, develops things for the community. Those are good things. But when it comes to business itself, I think they might be at a weak point. Now, I'm going to say, put in the comments what you think about that, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Do you think a giver is going to be weak when it comes to business? Or do you think the a-hole is going to be, too hardcore when it comes to business? So put that in the comment if you disagree with that or not, or if you agree with it. So the third one is one that really cracks me up. I met so many people like this. I've been in business with people like this, and that's the showboat. That's prime time. Deion Sanders, right? Yeah. Now, Deion was able to back up what he was showboating about. But these are people who like to say, look at me. Look at what I accomplished. Look at what my company accomplished. Look at what we're doing. I'm making this much money. You can find out everything about them because they're going to tell you how much money that the company's making, who they partnered with. They're going to showboat. They're going to brag. You know people like this in personal life. They're braggers. And they even low-key brag, man. When you say, oh, pray for the company because we're about to go meet with XYZ for this contract. That's low-key bragging, man. That's showboating. So if any of y'all do that, that's what y'all are doing. I'm just letting you know. Okay. So is showboating a good thing? Is that somebody you want to hook up with in business? Or is that something you want to be, is a person who was showboat? Or maybe you are a showboat person and you're going like, maybe I need to reevaluate that, right? Because this is how I look at it. If I'm writing you a check as an investor or even doing a partnership or anything with you, I'm kind of worried that you're going to tell too much of our business because you want to run your mouth about it. All I got to do as the opposition is get you to talking and bragging about yourself. See, in sales, I was taught how to get you talking as a person who's a showboat, by complimenting certain things to make you feel good. Now, all of a sudden, you can tell me the price tag for them shoes and for that hat and for whatever else, right? So that's the same thing it is in business when you're showboating. So if I'm writing you a check as an investor, I'm worried about you showboating too much. And then I got to worry about whether you can have any substance behind that showboating. Because I've met so many people in business, they showboated so well, man. You would have swore they had a Fortune 500 company. And it was crap. It was nothing. They were faking it. The fourth one is one that I probably kind of feel like I relate to a little bit more, and that's an idealist. We're kind of romantically involved with idealists in today's world with all this digital and the tech, right? We look at, Steve Jobs, he was like an idealist, right? We always see these people on the stage and they're talking these theories, and we're getting all caught up into the emotions of like, wow, man, they're a deep thinker. Okay. Idealists does help change the world. They do go against the grain. They are disruptors. So I do kind of, feel like I share that, but is the idealist necessarily the ideal person for business venture to invest money in without balance? And what I mean by that is idealists is going to go about the ideal and not about sometimes the reality. So as an investor, I don't need you to be so out there in space with your ideals or what you think you can push and do. And it costs us too much money, the burn rate's too high, and you want to keep pushing the envelope because it's just money, right? It's about the ideal, man. Right. So that's the danger. And you see that all the time, science versus the money and people battling back and forth. But I believe every team needs an idealist. Every person needs to have a little bit of every single one of those types. At moments, you need to be an asshole. At moments, you need to be a giver. At moments, you need to be a showboat. At moments, you need to be an idealist. If you're not, then you need to have people on your team that make up those traits. I think your success increases as you have more of these four particular traits. I think that is, boom, what the key is here. Now, I want you to look at these videos right here. I want you to check them out because they're going to help you get an idea of which kind of person you are. Give me your feedback. Put it in the comments. Like the video if you think it was helpful to you. And this is your boy J.I., a random podcast. I'll holla at you on the other side.